Hello students. Today we will study class 7th geography, human environment interactions. The two regions that we'll study in this chapter are the tropical and subtropical regions. When we see around us, we see that different regions basically which are located in different latitude usually carry different kind of features. In this chapter, we will study about the tropical, the zone which is located near the equator, and the subtropical, the very next zone beyond the tropical area that lies between 20 to around 35 degrees north and south latitudes called the subtropical region. Both these regions present in front of us different kind of climatic condition which poses an effect on their flora and fauna, and ultimately how the humans interact and sustain in these kind of climatic condition. Let us start with the tropical region. Usually, the tropical zone is counted 10 degrees north and south of the equator, but it depends on the landforms that occur within the continent, which affect the secondary factors of the climate. Here, we are taking an example of the Amazonian rainforest, which provides us with the best possible conditions of a tropical region. As you can see in the picture, the Amazon lies around the river Amazon, which originates from the Andes mountain range, and it flows throughout the Brazilian country, passing through different states, and then ultimately reaches its destination in the Atlantic Ocean. Different tributaries also add their water into the main river. The term Amazon was given by Spanish explorers who discovered the Amazon River and found that it reminded them of the fierce tribe of women warriors that existed in the Roman Empire called the Amazons, and thus they named the river as Amazon. As we can see in this picture, throughout the basin of this river, basin is the area which is the catchment or the part from where the river extracts its water is termed as the basin. The basin of the Amazon river is extended to a very large part of the South American continent, and the river, the equatorial climatic condition, the closeness with the ocean or the water bodies provides the best conditions for emergence of rainforest in this area. So let us start with the conditions existing in the Amazon basin, the climate. The climate of the area is hot and wet. Temperature is hot because the location is right over the equator. Thus, the maximum sun rays are falling straight on this area, creating a very high temperature. At the same time, the water bodies lying nearby are getting evaporated because of this high temperature, causing heavy showers, heavy rainfall in the zone. Thus, we see that it is hot and wet in climate. The surroundings are basically humid, that is, when you visit the area. When you visit the area, you will feel that your skin is sticky, and even after the rainfall, the temperature does not fall down. So we can understand how difficult the situations are there for human beings to survive, but these conditions provide excellent possibilities for the ecosystem to emerge. So we see how the flora and fauna of this zone are. Flora means vegetation and fauna meaning animal type. Because there is a heavy rainfall and the temperature is also very high, these conditions support a large amount of vegetation. Thus, we see that there is thick forest growth in this area, from very tall trees that make the roof of the whole forest area to creepers to small plants. You'll find the maximum varieties, the maximum species of flora in this zone. The main would be shisham, rosewood, ebony, mahogany like trees. They cover the forest area in such an intense manner that most of the forest ground, it remains dark and damp. The sun rays do not reach the floor of the forest. You'll also find orchids and bromeliads type of parasitic plants growing here. Because we have a large variety of plants and vegetation, those who feed on these plants and vegetation are also found. Here we'll find a large variety of animal species starting from small insects like ladybird to birds like toucans, birds of paradise, hummingbirds to monkeys like lemurs are found here, and to the bigger, more dangerous predators like panthers are also seen in this area. Because there is a large area covered with water and dampness, it also invites varieties like crocodiles, snakes, pythons, some of them so large in size like boa constrictors or anacondas are also found in this zone. The amazing fact about the flora and fauna of the Amazon basin is that because they are so rare and unexplored, you don't see the types of animals and birds and insects that you find in the basin anywhere else. Even there are many new species that have not yet been identified that are found there, and it is a mystery for the entomologist, for the scientist to see how much variety the place is carrying. So, this is the differential type of flora and fauna found in the Amazon rainforest. And lastly, uh, what kind of human species or the people reside in the rainforest? Because the zone is majorly covered with forest, the place is essentially resided by tribal people, tribals who have adapted themselves to live in the difficult conditions of the Amazon basin. They are basically nomads practicing slash and burn agriculture in the zone and growing the essentials in small areas within the forest body. They make their houses out of what they find around us, the wood, the leaves, the bamboo, and all. Under the slash and burn agriculture, the people they usually clear out a piece of land within the forest. By clearing, they first cut the tree tops and use that wood for other purposes, and they burn the stumps of the trees. By burning, they are able to scatter the ashes of the burned tops of stumps of the trees, and once the fire stops and the place is cold, the ash that is scattered it adds to the fertility of the soil, and thus afterwards they only have to scatter seeds and do irrigation, and in this manner they conduct agriculture in the area. The piece of land Once it starts reducing its fertility, once it starts giving them less production, they leave that piece of land and then move to another area. This in India is also known as shifting agriculture, that you will study in senior classes. The houses that the Amazonians make, they are locally known as Maloka. They are built on a little height and are shaped like beehives with a steeply slanting roof. They are not entirely dependent on the agriculture. They also harvest their required materials from the forest. They are dependent on the herbs, fruits that they gather from the forest. One of the major staple food is cassava. It is a potato like, sweet potato like. The lives of the Amazonian is not the same. In recent times, we see that because of the extension of the developmental activities, the industries, the roads, the traffic is also interfering with their livelihood. Now we see that a trans-Amazonian highway is being constructed, which passes through the Amazon basin, and this is affecting the lives of the people, the lives of the animals, and the environment, the trees, which is witnessing a negative effect. Lately, we see that the population has started rising. The soil, which is not now exposed to the sun and the traffic and all, is decreasing in fertility, and the biological diversity that existed in the rainforest is at on the verge of danger. The area as is adding on to the population, the more the settlements rises up, the more infrastructure will be required, more buildings, more industries, more roads, more schools, more hospitals, and thus slowly and gradually we are destroying the natural rainforest, an amazing place which provides us with immense amount of animal and plant species. If we are not aware enough, if we are not vigilant enough now, sooner or later we will be seeing its after effects, and this will be very difficult to bear then. In the next lecture, we will study about the subtropical region, the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin, which is found in the Indian subcontinent. Thank you.